So I am finally now able to get around to recording the audio for this stinking episode because life got busy, the holidays became the holidays, and I just couldn't get around to recording the audio when I wanted to. But better late than never, I guess. So here we have a little bit of McIntyre just calling out Punk, and Punk saying, yeah, tough talk from a word coming from a dude tweeting in the doctor's office who's made a fine sign and now.
Familiar position here. I have a feeling Drew is about to drop a pipe bomb of his own.
You know, they say time is a flat circle, and that sure is the case with Can't Mend Punk. Here's how it always goes. Punk shows up to great fanfare. He gathers an entourage of weak, sad, desperate people who buy enough of his knockoff cult leader garbage to follow him off a cliff. Then he has a tantrum and he goes home, leaving everyone who trusted him broken in a ravine at the bottom of that cliff. Just look at the splintered locker rooms this vile cancer leaves in his wake and you'll see.
Here we go. If it's the real Punk this time.
It's him. CM Punk is here.
This is what Drew wanted.
I want to talk right down to earth in a language that even Drew McIntyre can easily understand. Here it is, Drew. You need some new material. You've been the same whining crybaby since the machine anointed you the chosen one, and everybody laughed you out of the territory. I don't blame you if you don't remember that, but look it up. There's plenty of video online.
Hey, we're done talking. Now why don't you bring your brittle bones down here and we'll settle this the old-fashioned way.
Nah, not tonight. See, that's your problem. You're old-fashioned, and this is a whole new world. This will get settled, but not by me. Come on out, boys.
Yeah, about your mates. They've been delayed.
Is that Drew's sword?
It looks like it's trapped whoever Punk brought here from Mutiny. And not as confident now, are you, Punk?
He's getting the hell out of here.
No, he isn't.
And they've got Punk cornered.
Wait, there's KO.
McIntyre just leveled Kevin Owens. Owens' distraction worked.
For Punk, maybe.
Kevin Owens is alone with two of the most dangerous men.
And of course, Punk turns tail and runs. Well, can't let that happen. Alright, as Drew put Anaconda Vise on Kevin Owens. Okay, did they at least? Yes, they did, thank goodness. Okay, so they just made it so all my signatures and finishers are going to be the Anaconda Vise, so it doesn't matter when I do it, I just have to do it to move on with this. That makes life a lot easier, so I don't have to try and figure out the submission to put it on, or worry about knocking him out early, because I have had that happen before in these modes where it's like, oh, put a specific move on the person, and it's the signature or finisher, whatever it happens to be, and I end up knocking them out right before I'm about to get it done. Or if they have a second person, like this time it does, the second person ends up knocking them out, and it's like, man, that ruined it, because I didn't want you to take them out. I wanted to be the one to take them out because I can move on with the storyline. But usually it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. We'll get it done. And usually when it has a specific move, it means there's a cutscene. So we'll see, because sometimes there isn't. But okay, couldn't reverse that. I will say it's weird playing as a McIntyre when I have the custom character, because I cannot physically control the custom character. Like when I'm hitting the button, it doesn't control him, but at the same time you are playing this from Drew's perspective, not the player character's perspective, so it makes sense. Whereas certain moments like tag matches where it doesn't matter, they'll usually allow you to play as both, or if you need to do a specific achievement, such as like as Punk, or as, in this case, as Matt Drew put the Anaconda Vise on Kevin Owens. Thankfully, it doesn't have to be in the ring or at ringside, so I can just... Where's my... Okay, signature is nowhere near, so we'll just belly-to-belly him. That would have broken his neck, realistically, because he would have face-planted onto the apron and got whipped. That... You gotta love video game logic sometimes, because that would have broken him in half. Or in, like, that type of move... I'm not saying he would not survive that unscathed. He would have some form of injury. On the slightly related note of injury, I do hope Kevin Owens gets better soon, because I know he's been out injured since right before WrestleMania last year. And we're coming up on the Royal Rumble. No, I do not think he will be making an appearance at the Royal Rumble. Mostly because I know his injury was pretty darn bad. Alright. Can I Claymore him or nope? Well, I know they... Oh, probably not, because they changed everything to the Anaconda Vise to ensure you got it. But I also know sometimes as soon as you do it, you get back to normal. So, let's see. Nope. So it's just going to be the Anaconda Vise. That's not that big of a deal. But all I got to do is knock him out. So I can't complain, and that didn't work. See, what I was hoping is I can get that future shock DDT and take him out. What are you doing? Okay, drop the elbow on him. Thank you. Put him in the danger zone. So let's see if this does it. No. That did it. All it took was a couple cracks of the steel chair to take him out. Success. Okie dokie. So now that's done. We took out KO, even though realistically, if this were legitimate, he'd have just passed out to the Anaconda Vise, and that would have been it. I wouldn't have had to do all the extra stuff to knock him out, but it's a video game, and I'm too lazy to redo it to get a quote-unquote storybook ending, so we're getting the ending we're rolling with. And moving on. Which is why I cracked him with a hit in the steel chair.
We were this close to taking Punk off the board.
He might have slipped away, but we did take out KO at least.
And I bet he has some serious questions about Punk's leadership right now.
Your plan worked, Drew. Just not exactly the way you intended.
Not at all, Loss. But not the bruised knuckles I was hoping for.
Everyone wants to bruise their knuckles on CM Punk.
It's a win. Every bit of dissension inside Mutiny can help us win at Survivor Series.
Seriously. We couldn't have picked two better people to join our team.
Should we all hold hands and sing Kumbaya then? Or get to figuring out how we end Punk and Mutiny once and for all?
Let's focus on the battle at hand.
We can have a big karaoke party after Mutiny is defeated.
We're all agreed then. Victory, then karaoke. So what's our next move?
Unity titles, Max is on SmackDown, Max is on Raw. Okay, I'm gonna send them to we're either gonna go to Raw or SmackDown right now, just because I just want to see if I can recruit more, or if that's it.
I don't know about
So
but I wouldn't mind getting some extra work in. We need to be in top form when we face Mutiny.
Understood.
And when we are ready to make our next move, I'll talk to Nick Aldis.
We'll be waiting for your call.
Army of Punkness, we got that taken care of. So now if it's only the live matches, then we'll probably just move on next time. And yeah, it's looking like I can only do live matches. So next time, we will upgrade the girl, and then more than likely just continue on with the story, because if this is just gonna be live matches, then I don't necessarily want to waste y'all's time and mine with that, because yeah, looking like that's all this is going to be, but we do have, okay, McIntyre, Charlotte, and Tiffany. So, you know what?
This live event match.
Why not?
Your fire. You in?
Ooh, a cage match. Yeah, why not? Let's just do it. Who cares? And plus, it's going to allow me, because I realized I was talking over the cutscene, to say, good thing McIntyre does have his priorities somewhat straight. Victory first, then karaoke. But we also know where it lies. And plus, I'm curious, are we going to have a team entrance, or are we going to be generic? Generic. Okay. So now for McIntyre, I don't believe we've shown his entrance. There was that MMA Underground type match that we had. So I'm not sure if we did. So I'm probably going to show it for a little bit, and then maybe I'll skip it, because actually it is looking very similar, just different ring gear. But, I mean, another reason I do plan on showing this is to kind of pad the video out a little bit. Not to make it longer, but because when I initially had started the setup, it played the end of the last part, in which you had Pierce, McIntyre, and the custom character all arguing with each other before going at it. So I cut that conversation out of this video to then, and I guess to replace it for the time, we'll just do this small match to really just to do it. And plus we get to see characters we haven't seen yet, such as AJ Styles, one of the greatest professional wrestlers. He got his start in the independent scene, had a couple enhancement matches, I believe, in WWE and WCW for a little bit, before really picking up steam in Ring of Honor and the National Wrestling Alliance with TNA. While in TNA, which he was there from inception to about 2016, I believe, 2015, 16, maybe even a little bit before then, did just about everything there was to do in TNA. Basically built up the X Division, won the world title 2 or 3 times, and won the tag belt a handful of times. And he's teaming with, oh, that would be funny if it was, because, is it? Come on. Is it? Nope. What I was going to say was going to be funny was if his mystery tag partner ended up being Dragon Lee from the LWO, because that's who he actually teamed with for a little bit prior to this year, prior to dropping the tag belt. So he went with Dragon Lee, who's also in the LWO, and I thought it'd be funny if they had them in the team together, but no, they didn't. Oh well. So it's actually funny that they put him in the LWO, because if you, Joaquin Wilde, you read his Wikipedia page, not even Hispanic. Not even a little. Like, his wiki says he's full-on Filipino, but I guess like Hollywood, if you look the part, you're good. That's a little weird. Well. Is it a big deal in the long run? No. Back to AJ Styles, though. He basically built up TNA, and then had a credible source all on the independent scene, and then for a little bit had a second stint in Ring of Honor / New Japan, where he would, I'm going to say lead, but I'm using quotes around that, the Bullet Club, because if you were to ask him officially, he never led the Bullet Club. The group never had a leader. But in Japan, on the Japan side of things, the leader of the faction is usually the guy who gets the main event matches. They aren't on every single tour. They're your biggest name. They go after the world title, or they usually go after the main event title, such as in New Japan it would have been the IWGP World Championship Heavyweight Championship at the time, not World Championship, but it would have been that at the time, or the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. And those are the belts he would go after, which were primarily defended in the main event, so he was dubbed the leader. However, because he was such a big name, they primarily used him for the big tours. So he wasn't doing every single tour, as opposed to a guy like Carl Anderson, who was the de facto leader in Japan after the first leader left. So after that, he went to WWE, became a Grand Slam champion, made his debut at the Royal Rumble in 2016 in Orlando. It was kind of cool. He got to debut basically where he got a lot of his mainstream exposure from TNA. And I wasn't at the Royal Rumble. I wanted to go, but you know, when you're a kid, you don't have access to adult money. And my parents said no. Dad, still resent that. I'm just playing. But no, you got to see it and it was awesome. And he was saying in an interview, I believe, I don't remember who it was with, but he was supposed to go to NXT for a little bit, but then when he came in, too many big names were injured, namely like Seth Rollins at the time. And he needed someone to feud with a couple of guys on the main roster, so they're like, yeah, you'll just stay here. And that's kind of what he did. He had a feud with Jericho for a little bit, eventually winning the world title after really good feud, during a really good feud with Cena, and all of it. So that covers him. He does unfortunately plan on retiring at the end of this year, being 2026. But alas, they can't wrestle forever. They try to, some of them. Anyway, Joaquin Wilde, another guy who was a mainstay of TNA, so it is actually kind of cool that they're teaming up. I don't believe the two ever teamed up while in TNA, but Joaquin Wilde was known for a little bit of time as like Zema Ion, and he was just this plucky, like, frat boy type kid. He eventually gets changed to DJZ, which was when they just needed something to do with him, and it was just long and complicated, I guess, difficult to say, so they're like, yeah, we're gonna name you DJZ. And his gimmick was, he was a DJ, and they put him with these two other guys known as the Bromans, which were just two dudes who tanned, muscles, that type of character. So they kind of put him there. He was the hype man. And eventually he won the X Division title a couple of times, and some tag belts a couple times, before eventually leaving, coming to WWE, where he's been as Joaquin Wilde. Initially started out as kind of a, I want to say, a jobber in NXT before getting storyline kidnapped by mass assailants during the 2020 COVID crisis. So he does all that, and he gets recruited by a lucha wrestler that won the Cruiserweight title in Santos Escobar. They formed a faction known as Legado del Fantasma, ran roughshod, eventually getting integrated with Rey Mysterio to form the LWO, but that eventually fell. Didn't fall apart, they're still known as the LWO, obviously, but Santos Escobar ended up leaving the group, citing differences with Mysterio's leadership, and that's just about it. It was just kind of, I think they wanted to separate it, but they didn't trust Wilde and his tag partner Mendoza to go out on their own, so I don't know. I don't write the booking. I just watch and follow and predict. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. That being said, an interesting fact with Joaquin Wilde, the original Ring of Honor logo, he had an interview, I believe, with Chris Van Vliet, who you can find his interviews all over YouTube. he had an interview, and he actually, Joaquin Wilde, designed the first Ring of Honor logo, in which they had a contest. He entered like twice. 2 entries, and his entry won it instead of like, because he went in with his brother. So his brother made one logo, he made another logo, and his logo is the one that won. But that being said, I know I said I was going to end it earlier, but then I decided to give you this little live event match. So that being said, I will officially end this off here. Later.